Hi, my name is Alyssa and I talk about cartoons and cartoony things. It's the spookiest time of year, which means it's time for me to talk about everyone's favorite seasonal mascots, the Monster Cereal's monsters. These characters have been around since the 70s, so there's a lot of ground to cover, but for this video I just wanted to focus on the animated commercials as well as the changing faces on the front of the cereal boxes. For this video it was actually kind of difficult to find specific names of animators except for the couple I did find for this video, so if any cereal or animation fans out there know the names of anyone I didn't mention in this video who animated these commercials or anything else, please leave them in the comments below. I will add their names to a pinned comment I put in the comments also, so please let me know if you know anybody responsible, since there's a lot of really beautiful work here, and I couldn't even find the information on Bing, so you know it's like hidden deep knowledge. With that brief intro out of the way, grab yourself some Halloween candy or a nice bowl of cereal, get comfy, and let's get nostalgic. The world got its first taste of spooky cereal in 1971 with the release of Count Chocula and Frankenberry.
Count Chocula. Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Frankenberry.
Frankenberry, not Frankenberry's monster, you nerds, was the world's first strawberry-flavored cereal, and Count Chocula, following up the success of other marshmallowy cereals like Lucky Charms, was the first chocolate cereal to feature chocolate marshmallows, or Marbits. This first commercial was animated by Peanut Studio animator Bill Melendez, which should be obvious enough from the look of the kid character. These commercials all tend to have a pretty similar format. Frankenberry, whose voice is inspired by Boris Karloff, and Count Chocula, whose voice is inspired by Bela Lugosi, debate about whose cereal is tastier, and they usually get frightened by something, sometimes running out of the shot entirely. This debate got even more heated when another iconic character joined the fight.
Hello, my name is Boo.
In 1973, Boo Berry, featuring a Peter Lorre-inspired voice, first argued his case for his unique blueberry cereal being the superior flavor. I was a chocolate fiend as a kid and therefore a loyal Count Chocula girl, but Boo Berry has got to be the most unique flavor and probably the cutest mascot among the three monsters. Is a ghost even a monster? Anyway, Boo Berry has a fervent following as well, and at least one superfan. Roger Barr, founder of i-mockery.com, appeared on a few TV shows hamming up and exaggerating his genuine appreciation for this one-of-a-kind cereal and its collectibles to appear totally obsessed.
Who wants to live a life without Boo Berry? Not me.
I appreciate the enthusiasm, Roger. Honestly, we stan a dapper ghost with suspiciously placed piercings. The following year, in 1974, we were introduced to a lesser-known monster cereal character, Fruit Brute, first named F-R-U-I-T Brute and later changed to F-R-U-T-E Brute, likely because there's nothing resembling actual fruit in these cereals. This cute brute was a short-lived monster cereal mascot. His cereal was only on shelves from 1974 to 1982, with a brief reappearance we'll talk about later, though he did get some infamy as a cereal cameo in two Quentin Tarantino films, Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. As a result of these brief appearances and the rarity of the product, retro Fruit Brute boxes are considered the most highly collectible of all the monster cereal boxes. For the next several years, the debate about cereal taste superiority among Frankenberry and Count Chocula would rage on, sometimes with interjections from Boo Berry. Boo Berry got a little extra promo love with a surprise toy Boo Hooter inside select boxes in 1975. The style of these 70s commercials was always a little on the corny side, but in a good way, though this 1977 commercial takes the cake for the most low-budget looking one in my opinion, though I am fond of how the animator drew Boo Berry, since I think he's such a basic character design that I think you can get away with making him look a little extra goofy. I wonder what the shift was with who animated what commercial, since this other commercial from the same year looks much smoother and nicer in comparison. I also really like the look of Boo Berry and Count Chocula in this 1979 spot. The little eye bags under Boo Berry's eyes add a lot of personality and charm. In 1979, we also got a rare commercial with just Frankenberry and Boo Berry with no Count Chocula in sight. In the early 80s, we saw more live-action and animation crossover, with children interacting with the monsters and casting their vote for their favorite flavor. These kids in this 1980 commercial are particularly cheesy.
See?
I like Frankenberry's strawberry flavor and real marshmallows.
Frankenberry. Count Chocula.
The characters appear, to me at least, to be a little bit more cute than their 70s designs, especially Frankenberry. In 1981, there was an ad featuring all cartoon children alongside Boo Berry, but in '82 the ads went back to being focused on Frankenberry and Count Chocula, again with live-action children. Finally, an ad I have more information on.
It's Count Chocula cereal, the dreamy part of this complete breakfast.
And look, loads of chocolatey marshmallows too.
This 1987 Count Chocula commercial was directed by Uli Meyer, who boasts an impressive demo reel and resume working on not only cereal commercials from Cocoa Puffs and Lucky Charms, but also animated classics like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and An American Tail 5 Goes West. Throughout this Mascot Snapshot series, I'm sure we will be revisiting more of his work as it's really lively, gorgeous stuff. This Count Chocula ad in particular is a really nice blend of cutesy cartoon charm and scarier features like the bony, detailed hands of the Count and the spooky stalactites. I really like this blend of cute and age-appropriate scary, and wish that these commercials would toy with it a little bit more. Kids do like spooky stuff, especially at Halloween. In 1987, we were also introduced to the fifth monster, Fruity Yummy Mummy. This cereal was only around until 1992, but he did get a few really nice-looking ads at the end of the 80s.
Frank, but Fruity Yummy Mummy Monster Mellows.
Make your tummy go yummy.
Entering the 90s, the characters didn't undergo any radical changes, though I really love this particular version of Frankenberry and think he's the cutest version of this character. I would really love to know who was responsible for this commercial, though I'm not too wild about these boxes. They're a little creepy looking and not in the fun horror way. I'm not sure if it's my bias as a child of the 90s or my general taste in art styles, but I really love these early 90s ads, and I think they're really cute and fun looking versions of the characters. Count Chocula seems a little extra friendly and silly compared to earlier versions. The style of the kids in this 1992 ad are almost borderline too cute, but I kinda love them. I mean, if you're not gonna attempt to be scary at all, you might as well go full steam with the cute factor. Speaking of cute, in 1994 we arrive at my favorite commercial out of all the ones I sat and watched when researching this video. The expressions and movements are just such a treat to watch, and this little ghost guy is just the cutest thing I've ever seen. It's got that 90s feeling in all the best ways. And while I've read about rumors of General Mills looking to make some kind of movie featuring the monster cereals in the future, I doubt it would end up looking half this good, which is a real shame. If you're gonna give me an hour-long ad for junk food, it better be beautiful to look at. Thankfully, none of the Monster Cereals characters ever went fully 3D in their commercials, though they did like to mix some three-dimensional elements in, which made sense for this 1995 promo for 3D glasses. The style of this commercial stands out from the other 90s ads, and I'd be curious to know who was behind this one as well, as the style looks pretty familiar, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Of course, we can't get through a video about Halloween and the 90s without mentioning Goosebumps. Count Chocula had a promo featuring what they claimed were Goosebumps-shaped marshmallows, though the shapes are all pretty generic Halloween shapes and don't really have anything to do with Goosebumps, so the only connection is the logo slapped on the box, which is kind of bogus if you ask me, especially when the following year there was a promo for Scooby-Doo Count Chocula where they actually made Scooby-Doo related marshmallow shapes. What gives? I looked high and low for commercials, and as far as I can tell, these ads from around 2000 were the last ads made for TV featuring the monster cereals. If I'm wrong, please let me know, but I wasn't able to find anything beyond these on YouTube or elsewhere. By the way, props to whoever made this really cute version of Boo Berry and ditched the chains. Smart move. There was, however, another animated ad campaign. It is unclear to me whether this was ever aired on TV or was made for web exclusively, but this campaign was part of a total visual overhaul of the Monster Cereals characters by Pat Giles at Danger Pigeon Studios from 2004 to 2010. I think the idea of creating an animation and remix video featuring audio from an old 1979 Monster Cereals record to kind of tie the cherished old characters into the new wave of the redesigns is smart, though these versions of the characters aren't really my personal cup of tea stylistically. I think where these redesigns actually really shine is on the retro but modern packaging for the Hot Wheels toys they came out with at the same time. I wish the actual cereal boxes had adopted this mix of old and new sensibilities, since I think it's actually really nice looking, especially for the Frankenberry redesign. This animatic of some scrapped animation for this campaign is also really fun to watch, though. This redesign wouldn't be the last time that General Mills would try to cash in on nostalgia. In 2013, all 5 flavors were put on shelves for the first Halloween season ever, with retro-style boxes and everything. It's interesting to me that this didn't continue for another couple of years, since retro style is more in now than it's ever been before, but that just makes these boxes that much more desirable to collectors. The company had other ideas for the monsters and how to best freshen them up, and the following year, artists at DC Comics were brought on board to give the boxes a bold new look. Artist Jim Lee designed this rather chilled-out looking Boo Berry, Dave Johnson was responsible for this fantastic Frankenberry, and Terry and Rachel Dodson made this amazingly dramatic Count Chocula. Jim Lee, best known for his work on Batman and X-Men, had this to say about redesigning his childhood favorite cereal mascot, Boo Berry. He's not just a monster. To me, he was the smartest of the trio. I'm no comics expert, that's kind of my boyfriend's job, but a quick glance at the resumes of any of these artists shows that they've worked on basically every comic book hero you can think of and more throughout their careers, and I think it's pretty cool to bring comic artists with a totally different sensibility into a project like this. In fact, the changes to the character designs on the boxes has been much more dramatic than the more subtle changes over the decades to their animated counterparts. The monsters go from simple and flat to exaggerated and three-dimensional and basically every style in between. I'm curious to see if they'll do a re-release of the retro boxes again since it's been so long since the last taste of retro design goodness, or if they'll continue down this 3D path for the foreseeable future. Regardless of the design changes from boxes and commercials to toys and collectibles, for the past few decades, actually nearly 50 years now, these characters have been part of a Halloween time tradition for families across generations. Their appeal and charm don't seem to dwindle over time, and I believe part of this is due to the strategy of only being a seasonal cereal. Other year-round cereal mascots are beloved, but making something limited does make it feel more special, especially when it's tied to such a memory-filled and special time of the year for so many. Despite complaints from cereal fans that the recipe has become much less sugary over the years, the popularity never really seems to fade for these kooky and spooky boxes and toys, so I think it's safe to say that these monsters will be a part of Halloween for many more years to come. What was your favorite monster cereal growing up? I'll put a little poll up either here or the other side of the screen. I don't know where the polls go in comparison to where my hand is. I guess I'll find out when I'm editing, huh? If you like this video, I have 2 other Mascot Snapshot videos on my channel and plan on making more. Please leave a comment in the comments of your favorite mascot, cereal or otherwise, and I may do a video on them in the future. If you like cartoons and cartoony things, be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell to be notified of when I upload. I upload every single week. And with this intro and outro filmed, I'm headed to Halloween Horror Nights in about an hour or so. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic October and a wonderful and spooky Halloween. Take care and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Isn't this the cutest thing you've ever seen? My mom made this. I just opened the package she sent me in the mail right after I finished filming my intro and outro, or else I would have had him in the background the whole time. But look at him, isn't he the cutest?